Hello, I'm Tiegan. I'm neurodivergent, including autistic. I absolutely love Christmas. To me, it can be a very magical and fun time of year, from the sparkly lights to lots of tasty food. To me, it's the time of year I can just hibernate away from the world for a few days, watch fun films, eat a lot of chocolate, and just relax, which is a well needed break. However, this doesn't mean it doesn't come without its challenges or difficulties. I do usually end up quite tired by the end and even overwhelmed. I'm out of routines, I don't eat the usual foods I would have, and can be interactions that require extra thought, such as gift giving. So I do usually end up craving normality in my day-to-day life eventually. I want to share some reflections or ideas of how to look after yourself, regulate, and keep yourself as safe as possible, and for those around you how they may best support you to have the best Christmas and festive period possible. I think for me, the biggest difficulty that I will always end up feeling the impacts of by the end is the routine change and lack of familiarity. For multiple days, the pattern of the day is different, without the usual commitments work or study bring. Instead, I spend a day engaging in hobbies, time with my family, with board games played, and movies watched, and more shared meals. Whilst this can be really nice, there is an element of missing the structure that is in my usual day. I also spend more time in the living room or kitchen, as these are the sociable spaces. Food we have is not the same. It'd be crazy to have Christmas dinner and that many snacks regularly. One way I try to support myself with these is seeing it as another routine, a festive routine. Christmas Day always follows a similar routine, and days around it usually have certain elements that are set. My parents check in to remind themselves of any details of this and talk if there's going to be any changes. We eat the same just about each Christmas, and the days around it we also eat similar, like bubble and squeak for breakfast, a second Christmas dinner for some of the leftovers, and the kind of snacks. I also try to find elements of structure, such as wanting to watch certain things on the telly or knowing when we'll be going to bed. The next element of a festive time that comes to mind that we may struggle with or find overwhelming is there's usually more socialisation, which can be the kind we don't have on an average day. It also may be with people we don't regularly choose to socialise with. With this socialisation can come certain expectations. For example, if you get given a gift, they want a certain reaction. I know I can struggle to show certain emotions and take longer to process information, so any reaction may not be instant. As well as not all gifts may be quite what you expected or show everyone understands certain needs or special interests. People trying to make small talk or due to the size of the gathering, conversations are brief, so may struggle with how much information to give. Some of these gatherings and festive times may come with what can be seen as fun activities. However, it may not be fun for all of us. I know I don't like certain games as don't enjoy being the centre of attention, which can be another challenge is at points of a festive period you may become the centre of attention. The sensory element I don't find as difficult for me. I like the lights and usually keep away from crowded spaces that contain a lot of noise, including brass bands who I always find to be particularly noisy. But I know not everyone can avoid these spaces for a variety of reasons. If this is the case for you, try to plan as best as possible. Is there a different route you can take to avoid the worst areas, or change the times you go, again to avoid the busiest or more sensory overwhelming times? Also making sure you have the items that will support you. I regularly have my headphones on, but it may also be having fidgets or sunglasses. Make sure if you're with people, they are aware, as they may be able to take on the role of crowd control or help you navigate, even if that's walking facing the floor so you don't have to see the mass amount of lights and moving things. Within your home, if you do struggle with certain sensory elements, consider decorations that don't have these elements, or consider space in the house that are free of them. Another way that can help the Christmas period feel more fun and regulated is connecting celebrations to your special interests, as there is always a way to bring these in. For me, I always watch a Doctor Who Christmas special on Christmas Day, as well as around it, and my jumpers have special interests on them, including a dinosaur. I also make sure these jumpers are fabrics I find comfortable, as there are so many styles now so I can find textures you enjoy and feel comfortable. And there is also ones without jokes that I never get. If you want to wear festive clothing but jumpers don't work for you, there could be other items available from dungarees to t-shirts, so again find what feels a good fit for you. Finally, find ways of communicating your needs around Christmas. That may be a conversation or a letter of considerations for what you would like to happen in certain environments or interactions. If you know certain people want to have small talk with you, maybe think what they may want to talk about and set out sort of a script such as university's going well and I recently learned about this topic. I haven't ever done this enough, so always get taken by surprise and end up just saying, good. And people don't seem to like that as a response. Also, you may agree to use non-verbal communication in busier environments. The important thing is you try to make it feel as right as possible and minimise the overwhelmingness. Also, find ways you can keep regulated, even slightly. That may be the clothes you wear, having agreed space you can go sitting alone, or you're the one looking after the animals. I know when we visit family, my mum's always bring a dog, so I can easily go, I'm going for a brief walk with them. Overall, if you celebrate Christmas, it's meant to be a time of enjoyment and relaxing, so find what works for you and make it your holiday. If that's the activities you do, who you see, or what decorations you have. Make your autism happy by engaging in your special interests or sensory inputs you like. Now I'd like to talk to those around us and what I wish they would know. First of all, nothing about Christmas is compulsory, and it shouldn't be. To make it enjoyable, people should choose to participate and feel included. If people are forced, they don't feel included. Everyone will enjoy it in their own way. Think about those around you and the different elements they particularly enjoy. Sure, it's all not the same. As well as recognise that Christmas can come with a lot of pressure, from seeing lots of people to activities to opening gifts, which have to come with a response. Think how you can support this pressure. This could include arranging activities and seeing people over the course of a month, not over just those days around Christmas. It can be really important you're the advocate for us, to take away the awkwardness or negativity some autistic people feel if they have to make everyone accommodate them. Instead, you may be able to say stuff like, it works for us as a family, or sure, we would all appreciate spreading it out. Be flexible and listen to what the autistic person needs. If they don't want to be a centre of attention when gift opening, allow them to open in a different space or at a different time. Don't feel offended or it's a sign of lack of appreciativeness. It can be overwhelming to have all that attention on you. Likely they'll be more appreciative if they react in the way they want and process normally, rather than being distracted by, everyone's looking at me, and thinking, got to act like the neurotypicals expect. For example, big reactions. Another way to offer flexibility is to offer to have their usual foods available or certain foods as part of meals or buffets. Think about what they may usually struggle with and prepare for this. For example, if you know they don't like photos, don't expect a lot of that at gatherings. Instead, maybe make a plan for, we'll do 1 or 2 with the whole family, that's it, and you'll be called up last. Support them to have safe spaces and time out if needed, especially if they're away from home. Make sure there are some familiarities, even if that's comfort items. Create routines or support them to understand set days in the diary, such as going to the panto or seeing grandma. Plan ahead for these activities and gatherings. Go through what sensory elements there may be, who will be there and what will be expected of them, what they might need to bring with them and what will help them in the moment, such as being able to step out for fresh air. Include a way for them to communicate they're not okay or want out, but subtly as again they may not want all that attention on them. Be that safe person for them. Another thing I would want more people to understand is this time of year doesn't have to be a social holiday, and it can be enjoyed individually or within your little network. I know a lot of people associate it with time together and family, which whilst important can be done all year round, so if needed, do that instead. Overall, Christmas and this time of year can bring a lot of joy, but also challenges. Ask the people you know who are neurodivergent what makes a good holiday for them, and find ways to respect it. Know it can be difficult as we all have expectations and traditions about this time of year. Some will love it, others will hate it, but it's better to find a way for all to enjoy than a few at the detriment of others. Reduce our post-Christmas slumber and make it a time to look forward to. Thank you for taking the time to watch me giving some insights into a neurodivergent Christmas. Or if you celebrate other holidays, hope this has given some insight on how you may be able to make those more inclusive too.